CTV News at 5 with Hudson Mack.
Sydney North Saanich RCMP are looking for your help tonight. They're trying to find a man who has been missing for nearly a month. RCMP say Roderick Paul Maynard was reported missing by his family and friends on Valentine's Day. Maynard's family says he was driven by a friend to the BC Ferry Terminal at Swartz Bay from his home in North Saanich on January 28th. He has not been seen or heard from since. Maynard is 54 years old, 5'11", about 220 pounds. He has short, white-gray hair and brown eyes. RCMP say there is no indication of foul play at this time, but if you know the whereabouts of Roderick Maynard, you're asked to contact the RCMP in Sydney at 250-656-3931. And then a woman has died under mysterious circumstances in a parking lot behind the Newport Hotel. Emergency responders were called to the scene early Saturday morning. The initial 911 call indicated the 56-year-old woman was in medical distress, but when the paramedics reached her, she was dead.
They arrived on scene. They were assisted by BC Ambulance and the City of Nanaimo Fire and Rescue crews. Unfortunately, the female had deceased by the time they arrived. She's not a resident of the hotel. She lives in Nanaimo. It's been turned over to our serious crime unit. There are just some questions about the care and aid provided at the scene that we need answered before we can proceed further. There will be an autopsy done this week, and hopefully we'll have those answers by the end of the week.
RCMP say the woman lived in Nanaimo, but not at the hotel. Her name has been withheld at the request of her family. A woman who has spent more than 500 days living in the Nanaimo Regional General Hospital is now finally being moved. The NDP raised her case in the legislature today. The opposition says it is unacceptable that the most vulnerable members of society do not have the care they require. The woman has complex needs that cannot be met by many extended care facilities, and because of that, she has been in a hospital ward for the past year and a half.
There's a woman in Nanaimo, 505 days. At a cost of $1,500 a day. She's there because the services that she needs aren't there.
The patient that I believe the member is referring to is due to be placed within the next 7 to 10 days in an alternate facility.
The opposition says the woman's case was only made a priority because her doctor went public, criticizing the health authority for leaving her in limbo. The NDP says there are dozens of people across the province in the same situation, living in hospitals because there's nowhere else for them to go.
There are estimated to be another 29 individuals, Honourable Speaker. At what point does the government start recognizing there's a problem? After 100 days, 200 days, 300 days?
If the member wants to stand up here and say on behalf of his colleagues how many hundreds of millions of dollars the NDP is prepared to spend to create tailor-made facilities for every conceivable condition, then I'm all ears, Mr. Speaker.
The health minister says there are 21 people in hospitals across the province who are there because appropriate homes for them cannot be found. He adds that all of them have unique circumstances and complex needs, making placement difficult. Vandals have struck a school in Nanaimo, doing thousands of dollars in damage. A man who was walking his dog on the grounds of Uplands Elementary Saturday morning found broken windows, piles of garbage strewn around, and dog feces smeared on the building. Uplands has been vandalized several times over the past year, and police say someone in the community knows who is doing this. If you have any information, you're asked to contact the Nanaimo RCMP or Crime Stoppers. Well, the Queen of Burnaby returns to service on the Comox to Powell River Run first thing tomorrow morning, and just in time for the people who have been waiting. 2 weeks of backlogs and sailing cancellations will be over, and air ferry service is coming to an end. Travelers have been dealing with delays on the route since the ship broke down and then was replaced by a much smaller vessel that could only carry about 25% of the passengers that the Queen of Burnaby is capable of. BC Ferries commissioned a charter plane service to transport passengers as well, giving priority to people traveling for medical reasons. Well, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere, and a dog from Cobble Hill has made it big in New York City. Her name is Rio, short for Misty Trail's double-stuffed Oreo. She's a Havanese, and this year's show was her first time at Westminster. She's trained by 15-year-old Emily Dorma, a student at Francis Kelsey Secondary. Dorma's mother, Bev, accompanied the show team to New York and says they were shocked to win the title.
Our expectation when we went down there was just to go check it out, go compete in New York, because we felt we had a dog that could compete. It's a lot of professional handlers. When they put Emily to the front of the line, your whole body starts vibrating and you're just like, oh my goodness, Emily's at the front, and when she pointed at Emily, I'm not sure if I was more proud of my daughter or the dog.
It was her first time at Westminster and her last. The family says Rio has earned her stripes, and the dog will now retire from the show circuit. They're worried, though, that she might miss the limelight.
Rio loves to travel. She loves to go on an outing. If I told her right now to get into her bag, she would just jump in there and do circles. So, Rio, get in your bag. Get in your bag. Rio, in your bag. Good girl. So she gladly goes into her bag. I don't have to hold her in there. I can close her down. And, you know, she's happy.
The family has 6 Havanese, 3 males and 3 females. Now, while Rio gets used to retirement, the mother and daughter will focus on showing Eddie, a Havanese who is ranked first in Canada.